Hey guys, gonna do some Cummins talk real quick here. This is a 5.9. It's a turbo motor. It's 160 horse. It's in a piece of equipment. So a lot of people go to these motors after they've been sitting for a while, whether it's a truck motor, in a tractor, whatever it may be. Doesn't matter the application. You might have a different injection pump depending on the horsepower rating, whatever it is. Always check these manual shut-off solenoids. Now this is a good example. This one takes power to open up the gate to allow fuel to go through the injection pump into the engine. Some of them are reverse of that, like a Yanmar motor. They're completely open all the time. They have a solenoid that sits on the outside of the pump, horizontal, and it actually takes power to shut the motor off. In some cases, there aren't rods outside the motor or anything you can grab onto. You physically have to take the solenoid off, and there's a little finger in there. Kind of looks like a clutch, almost like a clutch throw out, clutch fork we'll call it. And you actually physically have to push that in to shut the pump off. Some Yanmar motors are like that. Some Kubotas are like that. Some of these small diesels, they have an actual solenoid that's mounted on the side of the pump, vertically or horizontally. That has a rod about yay long that pushes or pulls an actuator that actually physically shuts off the pump itself. If you're having starting issues again, guys, always check these. It's the simplest thing to check. Just put power to them. This would be the positive right here. Some of them are two wires. You have to figure out which one's positive, which one's negative. This one's simple. It's just got one lead that goes into the top of there. Put your positive there, and then ground out your alligator clamp or whatever it is, jumper cables, what have you, onto the body of the motor or the frame of the machine, whatever it may be. If you hear a click, odds are it's functioning like it should. There is a chance that you could be clicking and not doing what's supposed to be. If you're unsure, take the thing out and bench test it. Same order, just like we talked about. Another thing to check is always check your filters, guys. The simplest thing to check. You can usually spin these things off, look down inside there and shake them around, and if you see any indication of silt or it looks cloudy in there, go ahead and dump them all the way out and change them. I always like to clean them out, rinse them out, see how much junk comes out of them. Then you know something was in the tank, and obviously, you know, you get a machine that's 40 years old, there's got to be crap in there. It's going to come out eventually, and it's going to go right through the filters. Could take out your pump as well. That's another thing. If you're unsure if you're getting any fuel pressure after you've put filters on, maybe you don't have to even necessarily take the filters off. Go ahead and crack your line that comes from your manual, we'll just call it a actuator, cam actuated lift pump there. So anyway, you should be getting fuel pressure out of here, should go up into the oil filter housing and the back out to the pump. This would be your intake right here. This would come from the tank into the pump. Check this. I see this a lot on these manual pumps. Now you can convert this to electric fuel pump if you wanted to. It wouldn't be that hard. But these guys are, they work pretty good. Except if you run them out of fuel or run grit through them, they've got a diaphragm in there that tears once in a while. Couple of quick tips. When you're starting a diesel, always watch the exhaust, guys. If you're sitting there cranking, and you don't see any smoke coming out. When I say smoke, I don't mean black smoke. Black smoke should be coming out when it's running. But if it's puffing white smoke, you're getting fuel into the engine. If you're sitting there cranking, even if you've done a glow plug cycle, and you're not getting any white puffs out of the exhaust, check that and keep looking at it. That means you're not getting fuel into the engine. An engine like this, whether it's a small little 3-cylinder Kubota, Yanmar, turbo motor, non-turbo motor, you should be getting a puff of white smoke every time it cranks out that exhaust. Then you know you're getting fuel into the motor. No smoke, no fuel. That's another big one, guys. That is one of the most important tips that you can learn from a diesel motor. Always watch for the white puff. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Talk to you later.